Hi, I'm Nicola Cairncross.
Hi, hello, hey, hi.
I'm going to talk to you about success. Yes. Hi everyone, it's Nicola here, and I'm coming to you today from inside because it is getting a bit perishing outside, and I've got the cosy old stove going today, so I thought I'd stay indoors. What's been happening this week? Well, we had the launch of my Right Club podcast this week. We've got 3 episodes up on Audio Boom. If you just go over there, in fact, if you just go to rightclubthepodcast.com, you'll be directed to Audio Boom, where you can listen to the first 3 episodes. Episode 4 is coming on Monday, and episode 6 is all about writing sex scenes, so that'll be quite a fun one. That's going out on Christmas Day. So we've had a lot of fun making those. We've done the first 10, and we're going to get together after Christmas to do the next 10. And we know that the sound's not perfect, so any feedback you give us, if you could make it about the content rather than the sound quality, that would be great, because we're working on the sound quality as hard as we can. We've got a professional radio presenter giving us some tips on that one. But it's had nearly 400 listens already, and I've applied to get it onto Spotify. That's a new thing. Spotify are now taking podcasts, so if you are on Libsyn, apparently it's a lot easier to get your podcast onto Spotify. But if you just go and do a search on Google for submit my podcast to Spotify, you'll get directed to a Google form where you can fill in all the details, and they'll consider you, because it's a huge platform apparently, much used by the millennials, the much named millennials. So yeah, so I've applied for that. What else has been happening this week? Been out quite a lot this week. Oh, I had some people over on Sunday, had my first dinner party here. That was really good fun. I haven't done that for a few years because Steve always used to like doing all the cooking, and I haven't really felt like it for the last year or so, so I thought I'd ease myself in gently. That went very well. I'll be doing more of that after Christmas. And then out last night to Taverna Melissa's, where the food's just fantastic, and probably going to go out there tonight again because someone else is coming into town who wants to meet up with some people, including moi, so I will be there tonight, I expect. Just about working up to going home in a couple of weeks' time, going back for Christmas, New Year. Got a workshop, obviously, as you know, if you watch this Vzine regularly, and there's still a couple of places left. It's still not too late to snap up those last couple of places. So go to nicolacairncross.com/Carla Workshop, CALA-workshop, to get the details of that. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be great fun. I'm going to meet some clients that I've only met on Zoom hitherto. So I always love meeting clients in real life. It's always really good fun. So let's get on with the show, shall we? So this week I want to talk to you about what about when things go wrong. I've had a bit of an incident today where someone said something that didn't really upset me as such, just made me think, ugh. And so I follow Stephen Covey's advice on these occasions, where it's seek first to understand. That's one of his 7 habits of highly effective people. So I reached out to the person concerned and I said, look, you said that, did you mean that? And if so, can we do this? And we had a full and frank discussion where she actually told me something that I'd done on several occasions that made her quite pissed off, that she'd never actually mentioned before. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, okay, so why didn't you say anything? Or, oh God, I can't believe you thought that, or felt that, or thought that I meant that. And it was really quite a tricky situation. I tend to retreat when things happen like that. I tend to just go very, very quiet and want to go away and think things over before I respond. And it's a good idea to do that. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. So hear the person out, hear what they've got to say. I was cross with them for something they'd said, and it turned out that there were things that I'd said and done over the last sort of year or so that they'd been cross about but they hadn't mentioned. So it was quite a tricky situation all round, but the thing about seeking first to understand and then to be understood, then to put your point of view, it gives you time to really, first of all, let the other person feel heard, which is really important. A lot of people really need to feel heard, and it's really important that you do that. And then you can feel you can think about how you feel and put that across. And if you use the words like, you know, what you said or what you did made me feel, it's a really healthy way of doing it, because I couldn't deny how what I'd done and said made her feel, and she couldn't deny what she'd said, how that made me feel. So we were talking about each other's feelings, and that's a very honest way of having a conversation. So now we're working together to work out what we can do about the thing that she said that not upset me, it wasn't as strong as that, but it made me feel a bit ugh. And we're going to work together to put a resolution for that. And unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done about the things that I did that made her feel because it's too long in the past. But at least I know about it now, and I can make sure I don't do it again. So honest, full, frank communication. Always talk about, try and find out what the other person's thinking and feeling first before you go in with all guns blazing, and always talk in terms of how what they did or said made you feel, because that can't be denied. Your feelings are important, their feelings are important, and it's really much easier to talk about what's happened if you come at it from a place of, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to upset you, I don't want to make you feel scarce, I don't want to make you feel not listened to, not heard. And I think if you come at a conversation like that with good intentions, then you'll often be able to resolve it so much better than you would have done if you'd gone all guns blazing, which is often one's first response. Hope that helps. Hope you've got any tricky situations you'd like to know how to handle, or even discuss with someone else who's not involved. Then do use the comments link above on the blog, or the comments links below on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, in fact. Hope that helps. Okay, so on the podcast last week, episode 159, we were talking about communicating with your customers 21st century style. We were talking about how it's important to be all over it like a rash. You've got to be there on Facebook Messenger, you've got to be there on email, you've got to be there on Instagram direct messages, you've got to be there on Snapchat, and basically your customers can come anywhere. Judith and I talk about this all the time now. Nobody just visits your website, has a look all around your website, makes their mind up and then contacts you or clicks a button. People often want to have a quick chat first before they buy, and that's why it's important that you're monitoring your social media messaging systems so that you can actually reassure people at the point where they need reassuring, even if that's 9 o'clock at night kind of thing. So yeah, that's what we're talking about on the podcast. That's ownitthepodcast.com/159. On the blog, every month I produce I actually do the audio editing, and then Sarah produces for me a blog post and podcast episode from entrepreneurial thought leaders. Basically, I interviewed people a few years ago about what they wanted to share about their business, mind, marketing and money. And this month it's the turn of Stephanie Hale, who started out as a publisher in Oxford, and she's now a book publishing mentor. She helps authors do as well with their books as they possibly can, especially if they're business books. So go and have a listen to Stephanie Hale. She's on the blog on the 4th of December, and if you go to nicolacairncross.com/blog and then just scroll down, you'll see Stephanie's picture. What else we got? We got on the Vzine episode 45, we've got back joining up the dots, because I just wanted to go through and reiterate that you don't ever know what's going to happen out of taking some action. And sometimes it's difficult to decide if doing something for free for someone is going to be worth it, and I give you some criteria to make up your mind in that Vzine on how you should decide whether it's worth doing free stuff for people. That's pretty much it, I think. Just to let you know that there's a very big webinar coming up soon by one of my mentors, and he is talking about Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know anything about Bitcoin, as I didn't about 3 or 4 months ago, then you need to attend this webinar. So if you give me a shout, just email Nicola at nicolacairncross.com and I'll slip you the link to get in on this private webinar. He's going to be talking all about the technology that the whole Bitcoin blockchain thing is founded on, and I'm going to be listening very carefully because I've done a lot of reading and research about this, but I'm not absolutely clear what blockchain is. So I'll be watching with great attention to find out all about it. Since the beginning of November, when I started investing in alt currencies, I have doubled my money, which is really pretty amazing when you think about it. And apparently the price rise is going to go on for a little while yet, at least till the end of the year, because there's quite a lot of factors in play that's bringing a lot more money into the market, and more money into the market means higher prices for some alt currency. You know, Bitcoin's one of the ones that's benefiting, and luckily I chose another one that's doing quite well as well. So if you want the link to get onto that private webinar, then just send me an email, nicola@nicolacairncross.com. Speak to you later.